Thank you, Vincent and Raymond, for donating your 3 minutes to me. And I'm really grateful and really thankful to be here today to take part in these conversations about transformative leadership in Africa, but then specifically looking at the place of young people. But in the end, I'd like to basically just throw a challenge to both the young people and the older generation that are here present. A couple of years ago, I was seated in my house listening to BBC Radio, and they had an interesting feature about the Congo, the war in the Congo. And particularly, they were talking about the rape that was going on as a political weapon and as a weapon of war, rape against the women, against the children. And they interviewed a couple of officials, women, girls, and it was really sad. I sat there and listened to the whole feature, and I felt helpless. I wondered, so really, is there anything I can do to make a difference or to help? And all I could do was just weep. But I also did something else. I said a prayer, and I call that a dangerous prayer. Because my understanding is that a lot of conflicts are taking place in different African countries, especially where there are a lot of natural resources. And so I said, God, I pray that you may dry the land of Africa of all mineral resources and just leave us with what we need to survive, like water, nature, and all that. But take away all the mineral resources till the greedy politicians and individuals and the multinationals and all these people can just disappear, go away, because then there's really nothing keeping them here. And then you can bring the right people who are selfless to be able to lead us and to take us to the next level. And then that's when you can bring back the natural resources. And I waited, I kept waiting to see on TV, on internet, an announcement that, minerals, oil, gold had just disappeared. But then it was the opposite that was happening. Many countries discovered oil, gold, and, But looking back, I think that was a dangerous prayer, but a bit naive and ambitious at the same time. But that just tells you maybe the level of helplessness. And just picking up from that, did you know that up to $55 billion of Africa's revenue is being lost annually due to illicit financial flows? And this is according to the Economic Commission for Africa's report in 2014. And did you also know that Africa spends about $35 billion annually on food importation, food that we can produce in our own land? And if this goes unchecked, by 2025, we'll be spending about 110 billion USD. And a few other statistics, for instance, specific to young people, 670 universities in Africa churn out about 10 million graduates every year into the job market, but only about 50% of them get jobs. And about every 5 seconds, I don't know how many seconds we've been here, we've lost a number of women giving birth to children. And I can't go on about the violent conflicts going on in the South Sudan, in different African countries due to elections and all those things. But I just would like to juxtapose those statistics against the narrative, beautiful narrative that Africa is rising. And we have about 600 million hectares of uncultivated arable land here in Africa. And 60% of that percentage at the global level. And Africa, again, is the youngest continent in the world. And many other really beautiful, nice things about Africa. But then moving from the level of potential to a point where things are beginning to happen, I think is a totally different story, and that's where transformative leadership comes in. And I believe that we actually have what it takes to make a change, to change the status quo in our various nations. I just can imagine the role and the Herculean task that the likes of Nelson Mandela, Thomas Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, and many others had to deliver us from colonialism and give us freedom, give us independence. That was tough, but they did it. Some of them paid with their own lives. And I remember the Rivonia speech by Mandela, where he said, "During my lifetime, I have dedicated my life to this struggle of the African people. I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons will live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal for which I hope to live for and to see realized. But my Lord, if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." And I have a question for my generation. We have a few challenges, or maybe, I could say maybe many, that are facing us right now. But we cannot compare the magnitude of the challenge then to the challenges we're having now. But then how come they succeeded? Although they paid with their own lives, but they succeeded. So how come we seem to be complacent? We seem to be sitting back and waiting for things to happen. We seem to be sort of defeated. How come? Aren't we the same people with flesh and blood just like they were? Aren't we serving the same God who gives us the ability to be able to deliver? And this is just a challenge to us as we reflect. In the Bible, in the book of John chapter 10, verse 10, Jesus said that I have come so that you may have life and have it in abundance. But for me, 80% of what I see around is not abundance. Poverty is not abundance. Environmental degradation is not abundance. Deaths due to avoidable situations and issues is not abundance. To me, abundance is freedom. Freedom to become, freedom to be. And to me, freedom is manifested by factors such as dignity, access to quality education, access to healthcare. And I know that this world is possible. But we must be able to have the audacity to imagine that that world is possible and begin to work towards that, guiding ourselves, leading ourselves through example for other people to be able to emulate us. And I just wish to sum this up with a call to action on 3 items. And the first one is about mentorship. I work with young people through Emerging Leaders Foundation, where we do leadership training and mentorship to just mentor them, to help them believe in themselves, have a positive self-esteem, and pursue their purpose, and participate in matters governance at various levels. And I have discovered that all young people need is somebody to hold their hand, somebody who believes in them and tells them, you can do it, you can make it. You failed today, but this is just part of the success journey. You will fail, but you will succeed in the end if you do not give up. So I wish to challenge all of us in this room. Let us mentor young people. And if you're a young person, mentor another younger person, so that then the succession, one generation goes, another generation comes in, like the Moses and the Joshua generations that we had. Number 2 is about mental emancipation. The previous speaker, just before we broke for lunch, talked about the mind. I have come to believe that the greatest challenge that we have could boil down to leadership, but it's much more to do with the mind, our mindsets. I came across this book, Moving from Third World to First World by Lee Kuan Yew, and there's a part where he talks about when he wanted to get his nation from Third World to First World, he first discovered that he needed to change the mindsets of his people, to take them from the mindset of the Third World to the First World. So what is our mindset? As Africans, do we believe in ourselves? Do we believe in the beauty of who we are and of the beauty of our abilities? Let us get to that level where we actually believe that. And finally, I'd like to call us to something I consider to be really, really powerful. It's more powerful than AK-47, more powerful than power itself, more powerful, I think, than anything I have ever seen in the face of the earth, and that is love. I just sit down and imagine how much more would Africa, would the world change if only we would infuse just a little bit of love in what we do, love for humanity, love for our neighbors, that whatever we do, we have people at the back of the mind. The people need to live good, quality lives. Because this life can be short. But while at least we are having life, let people enjoy life and pursue happiness and pursue their dreams. Because that is what God meant for us to do, to be happy and to serve His purpose. And ladies and gentlemen, we are the ones we've been waiting for. So let's just rise and make dignity reality in Africa. And we must say that if it is to happen, then it is up to me. Thank you very much.